Welcome back to another Reading and Correcting with me, Kindar, the Tiger Writes, and Ty, the Tiger Supervisor. These are where I read a chapter from one of my stories and correct it as I go. If you want to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch and YouTube. And if you are looking to support me, that is on my Patreon. Today we are doing chapter 10 of The Technician's Fight. Jeremy stared at the ceiling, trying to work out how this had happened. There had been screaming, insults, and accusation. He didn't remember when he'd grabbed the Kelsirians by the vest and then slammed him against the wall. He'd been shoved, had sent him on his back, straddled him, intent on... He hadn't been thinking. He just wanted to get something out of his system. Sex wasn't what he'd expected to happen. The nose rubbed against his neck as Tomiri Mortoral let out a pleased sound. The finger made circles on Jeremy's stomach. He certainly hadn't expected how much sex had happened. Kelsirian's short refractory period had meant that once Tomiri Mortoral had fucked him, Jeremy had returned the favor, and then the guy had been ready and more than willing to go again. As had he. Fuck. What did it say about him? That all it had taken was to be alone with someone who stalked him to cheat on his heart. What was he supposed to say? This is going to be trailing off. The arm over him tightened. Yeah. Tomiri Mortoral whispered, then licked the lobe of his ear. Jimmy shivered. He couldn't want this again. It had been the heat of the moment, a way to let out his anger and frustration. It was over. He'd burnt it off. He couldn't want to have sex with him again. He was Gralgiran's. He was his heart's. He was with Gralgiran. He was his heart's. With this can't... The nip made him gasp. It's real. Tomiri Mortoral whispered. Jeremy laughed. He knew it was real. There was no denying what he'd done. He just hoped Gralgiran would believe him when he explained how it had happened, that he hadn't meant for it to happen. We can't do... The door opened, and Jeremy sat in surprise. He was certain he'd locked it. He hadn't wanted anyone to walk in on him screaming. Okay, the door can't lock. Huh. Okay. I hadn't expected anyone to come in now if the screaming and the rest hadn't drawn anyone's attention. He glanced for his pants or shirt, or Tomiri Mortoral's, anything to cover himself, then saw who was advancing in his direction and hurried to his feet, ready to explain this had been an accident. Gralgiran hugged him tightly, and Jeremy had no idea what to make of what his heart said. I'm so happy. Did he think he'd gotten here in time to prevent what had happened? Kelsirian's sense of smell was better than his, so there was no way he could miss what clung to him. A furred body pressed against him, and Gralgiran's arm shifted. Jeremy found himself held between the two of them and still couldn't figure out what was happening. When Gralgiran finally pulled away slightly, Jeremy thought he'd get to explain, to find something to convince his heart this wasn't what it looked like, but the joy in Gralgiran's eyes stopped him. I'm so glad you two were able to work this out. Tomiri Mortoral nuzzled Jeremy's neck. I know why you never felt the need to have sex with anyone else now. None of that, Gralgiran said gently. I was respecting Jer, not pushing you away. He leaned in and rubbed nuzzled with his friend. Jeremy pushed away. What's going on? What are you doing here? You're supposed to be on the station. That's why... Fuck, that sounded like he counted on him being away, wanted him to be away so he could cheat on him. How did you know where we were? Had he planned this? Had they? Was this? He didn't know what it might be, but it couldn't be good. They looked at him, arms still around each other's waist. Tommy Mortoral was definitely enjoying it. It's okay, Jer. I know, because the Earthers accused me of holding you against your will when they found out you weren't in our assigned quarters on the station. To prove that it wasn't true, I had the feed broadcasted there. Actually, adjudicator board, because that's the thing. Like he was ordered to. He may have planned to do it, but he was ordered to do it. Broadcast your feed there, so they could verify it wasn't true. No. Let's see. It's okay, Jer. I know, because the Earthers accused me of holding you against your will when they found out you weren't in our assigned quarters on the station. The adjudicator board, that's not capitalized, ordered me to broadcast your feed there so they could verify it wasn't true. You were fucking Tom, and he was enjoying it. Tommy Mortoral chuckled. That must have gone over well with them. I'm sure they're going to make a big deal out of it when we're called back. Jeremy stared at them. They'd been shown fucking, and they were talking like it meant nothing. The humans had seen him fuck. I'd seen him fuck another guy, and oh fuck, the humans had seen him fucking another guy. He realized he was looking for an escape when he felt the arms around him. Jer, it's okay. I'm not mad. You did nothing wrong. He fought to get out of the hole. Let go of me, Esau. Calm down, Jer. It's okay. They don't matter. Jeremy shoved. Are you fucking crazy? My dad saw me fucking another guy. Like, what he thinks? Not now, Tom. Jeremy Gralgiran kept looking at Jeremy. He can't hurt you. You know I won't let them. Who you are, what you did, it's normal. Normal? Jeremy thought he was heading toward hysteria. I had sex with your friend, your best friend. He noticed Tommy de Mortoral's confusion, but his attention was on Gralgiran, waiting for the sign of anger to appear now that he'd voiced his betrayal. Instead, he saw tenderness. You did nothing wrong, Jer. He was before him, hands gently cupping his face. You did nothing wrong. I don't understand, he whispered. He betrayed his heart, with his best friend on top of that. That makes two of us, Tommy Mortoral said. Gralgiran nodded. How about you get dressed and the three of us go home so we can be comfortable while I explain it? Home would be good, Jeremy said. So, Gralgiran said that the still of a movie on the wall showing three naked Kelsirians in a bedroom. By the bed, in a bedroom. I don't need to do. An aroused male stretched on the bed, and with two females of it frozen. Okay. Okay. So, Gralgiran said, there's still of a movie on the wall showing three naked Kelsirians in a bedroom. An aroused male stretched on the bed with two females at the foot of it, frozen at the start of what might be a physically violent argument. That's the situation Jared thinks we're in. Jeremy held the bowl of ice cream to his chest at the mention of his part in all this. Gralgiran had handed it to him as soon as he'd been out of the sex-smelling clothing, but before he could run to hide in the toilet, he'd guided him and also naked Tomiri Mortoral to the couch before undressing and returning with two smaller tubs, handing one to his friend before sitting on Jeremy's other side. "Those aren't human," he said. "Thought it would be less triggering if we didn't use Earther romances as part of my explanation." "Gral, I didn't mean to." The smile stopped him, the tenderness in the expression. "You did nothing wrong, Jer." Wanted to scream he'd betrayed him, but instead Jeremy put a spoonful of vanilla ice cream in his mouth. He'd said he would listen, but it was difficult. "How do you have Kelsirian's romance, Gral?" Tomiri Mortoral asked. "That's not a romance. And the last time we were here, I bought a full catalog of movies from every species to see how they handle relationships." He licked the iced, whatever it was in his bowl. Tomiri Mortoral licked the ice, whatever it was that was in his bowl. "Please tell me this isn't going to be as long as the Earther one you tried to torture me with." Jeremy had tried it, and the best description he could come up with was frozen pureed raw meat. Utterly horrible. Turns out Ridoshis are the only one with ballads close to ours in length, but I've yet to make sense of any of those I've tried watching. Look, the important thing is that this is a reasonably accurate analog of what Jeremy thinks is happening here. "I don't know what to think anymore," he said, then hid behind eating more ice cream. Gralgiran nuzzled him and continued. "Kelsirians don't do monogamy the way Earthers do, but they have a contracted system that establishes who someone is mated to and what liberties they can take." Sounds complex for nothing. Tomiri said. "Different species, different society. Basically, the two females are mated. The male is the one on the one on the left. Okay, I'm not entirely sure the exact nature of their bond. They aren't mated and they aren't having sex, but they are close. So as close of an analog. So as close to an analog of. Come on, where the hell am I? What's going on with Microsoft? As close to an analog of best friend as I can think of here. The contract doesn't allow her to have sex with him, which is what they were doing when she walked in, hence the anger." Tomiri Mortoral looked at Jeremy, who sunk in himself as much as he could, then to Gralgiran. "I don't get it." "Tom, I explained about Earther's monogamy." "You know he did," Jeremy muttered, remembering the guy throwing the word as an insult. "You forced me to watch Earthers not doing anything for half an hour, Gral. Then I lost track of how long two of them courting, and then something like that. You said monogamy in there was something Earthers do. I'd pretty much zoned out by then to avoid inviting just Billion in. Then here I go again, without distraction this time. Monogamy is the Earther's word for relationship. They only do it as a male and female. I'm not going into the how it can vary, Tom. That's going to be a distraction. Just know that in the end, it's one male and one female and only them." "When you say only them, you mean sexually?" "Yes." Tomiri Mortoral stared at Jeremy. "How can you do that?" "I remember someone saying he understood how Gral didn't need to go to you for sex anymore." There's Burns. "For Earthers, having sex outside of that relationship is wrong. If they do it with someone their partner knows, the better they know them, the more wrong it is." That doesn't make sense. If they both know him, it's better because then we can. That's our way of thinking about it, Tom. Earthers don't see it that way. "So you think that the sex we had in the gym is wrong? Tomiri Mortoral asked in disbelief. Yes. No. Jeremy closed his eyes. I don't know, okay? The hand on his leg squeezed tenderly. You did nothing wrong, Jer. He glared. You keep saying that, but that's not how it feels to me. I'm your mate. I basically promised you I'd be faithful the same way you basically did the same. And before you claim otherwise, you basically said you haven't had sex with anyone but me since we've been together, so you were faithful. Something else Tom had said resurfaced, an accusation that Jeremy had forced this on Gralgiran. He looked at Tomiro Toral, who winced. Gral, I think I'm going to head home. You don't have to, Tom. We can... This is being interrupted. I'm tired. Believe it or not, I'm not used to this level of excitement. Contact me after my shift. The look he gave Jeremy was penitent as he put his pants on, then he laughed. I'm not sure what that's about, Jer. Gralgiran said, I thought we'd... Without asking me. What? He had difficulty keeping his tone even. You did this without asking me. I didn't exactly have time to plan, showing you aren't talking about the ballad. All this, Growl. You fucking did all this without asking me if I was okay with it. He saw the realization sink in. I was trying to make things easier on you. And you didn't think to ask if that's what I wanted? Growl stared. Would you have been okay with me having sex with my friends? I don't know. I can't know if I would have or if I would have had or if it would have been something we needed to work through because you didn't give me the option. You did the same thing Omar did with me on Einstein. You took away my choice. Gralgiran's ears folded back, accentuating the look of horror. I didn't mean to. I just thought it would be easier on you. I was the only one for you then, and okay, that's not. Ah, da, 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 da. I was the only one you could go to then, and I was terrified you'd be scared off if you knew we saw sex differently. You had that little faith in me? No, but you were alone and I... You looked away. It was all I could think to do to keep you safe. The shame in the tone dampened most of Jeremy's anger. Okay, I was something of a wreck back then, but you could have said something later. When we got comfortable being naked in public would have been a good time to bring it up. I wasn't thinking about it anymore at that point. Gralgiran shook his head. No, that's not right. I wasn't thinking about it being my responsibility. I was waiting for you to do something, well, like this. I figured that as you saw how we are, that you'd realize there was nothing wrong with enjoying sex with others you care about. And my complete discomfort when I mentioned Turek sneaking off with someone else? I figured it meant you weren't ready yet. Jeremy let out a breath and dropped the nearly empty bowl on the low table. This can't happen again, Growl. His heart nodded without looking at him. I'm serious. My entire life, other people have been making decisions about how I was going to live without me realizing it. Just not too long ago, I had a program put in my head telling me how much I was supposed to hate you. You decided I needed to be under a hunter without checking in with me. I told you it was do it or be locked in the ship even when I can help on a hunt. He raised a hand to stop the reply. And I'm not actually mad about that one. Your points had validity, but it's part of a pattern, Growl. You might be well-intentioned, but you're making decisions about how I'm going to live my life instead of letting me make those decisions. I'm sorry. I'm just saying this can't happen again. I can't be someone you order around because you think you know best. Yes, you're the captain and alpha. Yes, you have many more years of experience living with this kind of life than I do. But I need to be able to make those decisions even if I end up screwing up. I'd rather you be there to catch me falling than prevent me from climbing. I will. I will always be there for you, Jer. And I'll be there whenever you need me. I'll always need you. Jeremy kissed his heart. Jer, Gary whispered about when they broke apart, about Tom. You miss him, don't you? He's not you. I don't love him the way I love you, but yes, I miss him. I've known him for so long. He's been at my side through so much. You said You weren't his for me to steal. I'm not, Jer. We aren't like that. We don't do monogamy. We don't even have a word for being that exclusive. We share ourselves with those we care about. But if you tell me not to, I won't. Jer, I don't want you to. Gral, you ask me if I'd be okay with it. You're giving me the choice. I can't tell you what I would have said then, but you ask me if I'd be okay with it if you'd given me the choice. I can't tell you what I would have said back then. Back then. But you're giving me the choice now. And I'm telling you that I'm okay with it. You pushed the fear down. That was a human thing. Decades of indoctrination by human society. You trusted Gralgiran. You trusted his love. He'd be there no matter what. Thank you. Gralgiran kissed him. And that concludes chapter 10 of The Technician's Fight. If you are enjoying this, please leave a like. If you want to know when the next chapter will be up, subscribe and hit the bell. If you want to read this story, it is available on Ream Story. If you are looking to listen to these live, it's every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time on Twitch and YouTube. Links are in the notes, and with that, I shall wish you a good day.